Good evening, and welcome to another edition of Tell the Truth and Shame the Devil. I'm Jennings Bernard, your host. As always, you can get me right here each and every day, Monday through Friday, from 5 p.m. to 6 p.m. or whenever I am available. You know what we do here. We talk business, legal, social, whatever affects you in this community, we will talk about it. Crime, hey, we would talk about that. Politics, we'll talk about that. Social ills of this city that we call Memphis, Tennessee, we will talk about that. But before we get into everything, I want to remind you, I ask you to do me this favor as we continue to do what we need to do to bring you the information that you need to know. I want all of my friends, if you listen to this program, I want you, please, sir, please, ma'am, to subscribe to this broadcast. And then once you subscribe to Facebook, I want you to tell your friends and yourself, family members to go over. And we're building a website. Looks good right now. It's called MemphisRealTalk.com. Again, MemphisRealTalk.com. That's one word, .com. MemphisRealTalk.com. And you'll be glad you did when you get over there and look what we are posting. News, information. We're going to have sports and all of that. I find the right sports guy. If there's a sports guy out there that know how to do the sports, hey, we're going to set up a time where you can come in and debate, do what I'm doing, and talk about sports. A lot of things that is happening in sports. One thing I've been following, they are not doing Deion Sanders, son right when it comes to the Cleveland Browns. Putting individuals, Dylan Gabriel, who is not as quite, in my opinion, as good or better than Shedeur Sanders. They don't made a lot of money off of him. His jersey is sold over $200 million just in his jersey alone. The people in Cleveland are asking that the owner play him, but for some reason they do not want to play it. Well, we want to get a sports analyst in here. He'll talk about that each and every day to you as well. That he will come in or she will come in and talk about sports. And we're just going to build this platform for you. We talk politics. I do a little of that, a lot of it, really. Excuse me. And other things, finance. We're going to talk about that as well because it is important that you learn about finance. Well, we're going to talk about politics and we're going to talk about finance a little bit all wrapped up in one. But when you go over to MemphisRealTalk.com, go down to the bottom page, you'll see a donation page. Hey, show me some love. Make a donation, no matter how small or how large, so we can keep doing what we do to help the community, but not only to help build this brand that we are working on right now. It's called Tell the Truth and Shame the Devil. And that's what we have not been doing for years. We have allowed the devil, with an S, to get away with every and anything in this community. But we're going to bring it to your attention. And we're going to talk about Gail Jones Carson, her thieving son, Brian Carson. I saw them on Live 3 on 3 today, and they talking about something. Anything that Brian Carson got his hands on, I would tell you to stay away from it because you know what he did as it relates to the fund that he took away from the Democratic Party. We're going to tell the truth and we're going to shame the devil. And I'm going to bring that up. Probably do that show on Wednesday. And you can let them know. I know they're listening and watching. We'll probably do that show on Wednesday and break it down with the judge who really had the most, from my understanding, the influence in getting Brian Carson that job as coordinator for the General Sessions Court. Who does that? Who does that when Judge Coffey asked a question when he was uh, arraigning the individual who the governor pardoned, and they put him over the reentry program. And he did the same thing that he got pardoned for, and now he's back in jail. And I remember the news uh, flash that I saw in Judge Coffee courtroom, and he asked the question, "Who does that? What city mayor? What county mayor? What city council? What people in leadership will give this man an opportunity to be over money and do it again?" And I equate that with Brian Carson. This time he's in the position to get paid for. Now they want to start and be a part of some organization coming up to honor the people. I understand there's nothing wrong with honoring people for a good job that they do. I'm all for that. But it's the people that are involved that I just don't trust. And I will say that. And I will let you know who they are. And you got Brian Carson again in the midst. If you think I'm lying, go back to, if you record like I do, and I sit up 2, 3 in the morning just listening and watching the different talk shows and things that have taken place nationally as well as locally. We're going to talk about the national level as well, where the judge ordered uh, the President of the United States, Donald Trump, to make sure that the SNAP benefit be paid. But he wants to cut a deal because he said he's the art of the deal. And you don't want to give it to them all like the court said. So that's something that we can talk about as well. And then we're going to talk about something locally. Y'all, excuse me, this weather, excuse me, this weather got me kind of going. I'm sitting up here with the hoodie on today and in honor of Veterans Day tomorrow. This says United States Marine Corps, Paris Island, South Carolina. Everybody know what that is because if you mention Paris Island, people will wonder, wow. And yes, and it was the place some 50 some years ago that I, as an 18-year-old, visited that Paris Island. And it lived up to what its name was. And they say the few, the proud, the Marine, they mean that. But at 18 years old, I endured it. At 18 years old, I did what was necessary to do to be and to wear the title of a Marine. And I'm very proud of that. Once a Marine, always a Marine, no matter what. And I accomplished that along with so many other accomplishments. But that one kind of stick out in my mind a little bit. Sometimes when I'm sitting here at home and I'm thinking about 50 some years ago as an 18-year-old leaving Memphis, Tennessee, by myself going to Paris Island, South Carolina. Didn't know what was actually going to be in detail as to what I went through. But I thank God that I wear that title of Marine, but most of all, I wear the title as a Christian and one who wants to do the right thing. But the life have accomplishments and journeys that you have to go through. And I'm glad that at the right age, right now, that I've gone through some ups and downs, good and bad, but God has always been there in the midst of what I have gone through and is still going through. But one thing about it, you cannot bend me, you cannot fold me, you cannot turn me around from the journey that I have faced before me. And my journey is to keep you informed. I've tried to enlighten you on many different occasions, but it didn't work that way as an elected official. Well, that's on you, that is not on me. But I can do this, what I do every day. Information is coming to me, and I want you to go to that website, memphisrealtalk.com. Make the donation. Look at what we got. But at the bottom there, it says contact us. Where you put it in there, the information or things you want us to talk about, it come out and we'll talk about it. My team and I will sit down and say, hey, let's look at this because the people are concerned about this. Let's look at that. And let's see what we can do about that to bring it to you. I'm looking forward to doing that. I'm looking forward to bringing you that information that need to be brought to you. Uh, I thought I heard something over here when I'm looking around. Be safe out there. First of all, be safe. As I always say, keep your head on a swivel, meaning looking to the left, right, behind you. Just be careful out here. Because as we get into it, we're going to start talking about some things. At first, I want to talk about uh, you supporting this program. Subscribe on Facebook, and then go to memphisrealtalk.com and make a donation. Know how small or large it is, whatever you want to do. We do appreciate you. And I'll remind you that of every day when we come on to refresh your memory if you haven't done it already. I'm Jennings Bernard, your host, and let's get at it. Well, when I looked at the fact that all of this is going on uh, in the city of Memphis, uh, I still say to you, some disagree wholeheartedly, and that's your right. I understand, but it's also my right to say I'm glad what law enforcement is doing in this city, along with all of the other agencies, U.S. Marshal, the FBI, the National Guard. I want to get everybody in. The Highway Patrol. And if I missed anybody, we appreciate you as well. And I want to, before I forget it, I want to remind you on tomorrow is Veterans Day. And I want you to go and hug a veteran, he or she, and thank them for doing something to keep us safe in this country that we call America. Those who have gone on, who made the ultimate sacrifice to keep us safe. Uh, I salute them. I thank them for their service. Uh, and to those who are now serving, we thank you because you are on your post and you're doing what is necessary for us to sleep well at night. We don't have to worry about foreign countries or anyone else coming in and attacking us while we are asleep. We have been blessed as a country because we have faithful servants as veterans who's on their post, whether it be sitting at a computer watching for whatever may happen to the man who walks the post with his arm in arm and do what is necessary. And I just think that you need to just take the time. And if you know your father, your uncle, your cousin, your aunt, whoever served, just giving them thanks because they are very appreciative when you do that. I go somewhere, normally I have a Marine Corps cap on my head, whether I'm in the Walmart or whether I'm in the Home Depot. Somebody will walk up and say, "Thank you for your service." And I will reply, "I was proud to serve." And that's what it's all about. And those individuals who decide to step up to the plate and be warriors for this country that we call America. Thank you for your service, all of you veterans, on tomorrow. God bless you. There's a cemetery called National Cemetery. There's a lot of fine veterans who have served this country that are laid to rest, not only at the cemetery on Jackson, but the one out there on Hash Cross as well. I'm Jennings Bernard. Let's get it. Let's get at it. Let's do what we do. You know, I was thinking about the SNAP benefit and the people who receive them, the government playing politics on the Democratic side as well as on the Republican side. There are a few independents there, but put all of them in the same pot and wonder why we are going into over a month, the 41st day of individuals not having the benefit. And I always think about that America and its government was made by the people and for the people. But yet the people who need the help that the individuals that we sent to Washington, D.C. to make that decision, but power corrupt, but absolutely power, absolutely corrupt. And when we send people to Washington or send them here locally, they have that power, and then they end up misusing the power that we have given to them. I want all of you who receive SNAP, remember this on election day. Remember that you had to do a second job from your original job because you couldn't get paid as the air traffic controller, as the TSA agent, because they played with the SNAP benefit that you were supposed to get. They played with the people who work hard every day to keep the airplanes in the air. It just, to me, do not make sense. But guess what? While they are suffering and not getting their paycheck, Congress is still getting paid. While if Congress shut down, they still getting their direct deposit or getting their check, however they get paid. But the people who put them in office are not getting paid, are not getting the SNAP benefit. And I want to talk about that not only national, but I want to talk about that locally. I was looking at the picture someone posts of all of the Democratic individuals that's running for Shelby County Mayor at this great hall uh, conference out in Germantown. You had all of them. You had Harold Collins. You had Heidi Coons. You had Mikhail Lowry. You had J.B. Smiley. And then you had the assessor, all sitting out there saying that they want to be the next Shelby County Mayor and Brother Burgess, who is the assessor. Now, if you look at it, think about all of those individuals. They are getting, in some way or another, I would call SNAP benefits from you putting them in office. They are not one in line waiting for someone to pay them or to give them the benefits because they are receiving the benefits from you, the individual who are sitting back wondering when they are going to give the SNAP benefit. But these politicians are benefiting from you as elected officials. Some may have other jobs. I understand Mikhail Lowry works at FedEx and he's a county commissioner. He wants to be the mayor. As related, I have a problem with career politicians. And the problem I have most is the problem with you, the individual who elect him, so they can get the benefits from your tax dollars. And they do absolutely nothing, in my opinion, but playing against you. You're trying to rub two nickels together. You're trying to put food on the table for your family, but you can't do it because of the SNAP benefits have not been given to you. So you go out and you do what you have to do to put food on that table. You go work a second job. And I've seen individuals working in hamburger places that normally I didn't see, but they're out there probably trying to make those ends meet until this situation change. But my question to you, ladies and gentlemen, is that fair? Where politicians sit back and their check is going to come, whether it's a county, city, or state. Their check is going to roll. They're not worried about where their next meal coming from. But the same people that put them on in office, if they are part of the SNAP and they are benefited, they are waiting to find out when they will get their benefits. But the politicians not worried because they got their direct deposit, whether it be local or national. They got there, so they don't have to worry about beating a fork and a knife together. There's nothing on the plate. They don't have to worry about that because they're benefiting off of you. And I say to you, not all of them are bad. Let me say that. But I would say most of them sit back and do absolutely nothing to help you. I say it all the time. Look at your community. It tells you what type of representative you have. If you look at your community, whatever is blight, whether it's pothole, that says who you got representing you. And if you got a voice to sit up and be on television and say, I want to do this for political reason, now the librarian and people who work in the library, they want to unionize. Well, here's J.B. Smiley out there in the middle of Cooper Yard. Probably hadn't been out there for anything, but he saw an opportunity to get out there and tell the people that he's for them. Well, if you were for them, why didn't you think of this and say that they are worthy as librarian people who work for the library? Why now, J.B. Smiley? I'll tell you why. It's a political opportunity to hoodwink, bamboozle, and run amok over the people that believe that have them to believe that you really care about them. My thing is, to me, I would say, don't wait until a crisis. You got to be able to think out the box before the crisis comes. Sit at the table, J.B. Smiley, and all of you want to be politicians that want to take care of the people when you lie to them and you don't. Why don't you sit down and think about the ways that you can help the people? Because you are there as a representative, meaning you are there to help the people and look out on their behalf. But you don't. You play the game. And ladies and gentlemen, you got to wake up because it's time to tell the truth and shame these devils. You're going to have it in 2026 next year. The old devil was upset when the county commission approved that they need to be ran on the same day uh, and time as the county commissions come up to school board. And you had a few of them out there hollering and screaming because they wouldn't have done but just 2 years. And now in that 2 years, they will see how messed up you are, how embarrassing you are as a representative. Now understand something. Sometimes we get so messed up mindset that we think bad politicians are doing a good thing. If you think I'm lying, again, look at your community. They're doing nothing that's good. They're doing everything that's bad. But you reward them one position after another position. Is there not anyone else in this city beside those same warmed up soup over politicians that want to be served to you from one position to the other over and over? And I use that analogy as it relates to cold soup. My wife make a great beef stew. It's, oh man, the boys love it. When they came by and she was cooking that soup, they loved it. They got them a big bowl and took some home with them. That's how good the soup is. And there'll be a lot of soup left over. And I told you all this story before. And after 2, maybe 3 days of eating it, I get tired of it. And I equate that with politicians. It's time out for us serving the same old politicians over and over again from one position to the other. You start out as a school board. You leave the school board, you become city council. You leave the school board and you become a clerk. You leave the school clerk office and you become a county commissioner. You hear the forward name. One was the city council. Now one is the school board. Why do we keep warming up the old politicians and keep serving them over and over again? Is there no one else in this city that is worthy and qualified to be in that position? And the problem you have, because they know that you're going to keep doing that, that makes them not want to do anything but just sit back and draw the money. Now, the legislator, Harris, who said that he would introduce a bill or try to get it passed, and everybody's saying, but no, that's not going to pass because the politician we have won't vote for it. And you have some politicians right now that are saying that they will not vote for that in Nashville, and that is the recall. Think about this. You would make the politician do their job if they knew that there was a recall bill that had been passed. And they put in there 6 months to a year. I would say a year. You would determine whether they are worthy to be in that position within a year. Some talk about it's going to cost money to have election when it come up to recall. It costs money to do everything we do in this city. It costs money to keep the lights on in City Hall. It's called money to keep the lights on in the county commission, as well as in Nashville, Tennessee. See, our biggest problem is that we don't know how to construct or organize how we spend our money well. We want to go and buy a hotel and haven't sit down and thought about what is going to take to run that hotel. Many of you stayed in the hotel. I used to travel with the church and conferences all the time and stayed in many hotels. Traveled on vacation, stayed in many hotels. But I saw something, even as a Mason, when I was traveling uh, with them from one jurisdiction to the other. I noticed something about hotel and management of hotel. First of all, you got to get the right people to be the upfront person that sit behind that desk and greet you well, not a person who comes in who had a bad day at home and gonna bring it to the job. It takes down your worth of the hotel if you ain't got the right people. You got to have right people in management that's gonna be the supervisors of all of the different places, from maintenance supervisors to maintenance directors to customer service directors and customer service people. When I look at a hotel and think about it, you got to have cooks, you got to have chefs, not just one. You probably have to have 6 or 7 chefs as long as the dining hall is open. Some have been open until 2 in the morning, some hotels. Then the night shift have to come in. That's a whole different shift. Come in and prepare breakfast. So when you get up, you can have that breakfast. Or I can go on and on and on and tell you even by the maids, the ladies and men who fix up your room after you leave and you come back and you got a fresh linen on your bed and your bed is made up and always left them little chocolate mints on your pillows. All of that is going to take place when you buy a hotel. Memphis, Tennessee, and this leadership know absolutely nothing at all about running a hotel. And I put on my Facebook page, and I told you this on yesterday, that you go to my page and you can see all the people right now have got to study this thing. You got out of town people, you got local people with board of directors. How many board of directors is it going to take to run this hotel? They say it's a nonprofit that's going to run. Now, if Memphis is going to buy, will we, as the citizens and the taxpayers, where they got to get the money from, are we going to benefit from it? Or who will benefit? You buy a hotel for a nonprofit? Is that what happened? Who will benefit? See, these questions are supposed to be asked by the people that you put in office when they can't think outside of the box. Some are afraid to ask the question because they figure, well, if I ask this, I may not get a contribution in the next election. Oh, yeah, it's thinking like that. Because most politicians, when they get elected, the second day they in office, they worrying about the next election. They don't want to do anything to offend anybody who gives them the contribution. So to me, you're wrong from the start. You spent the taxpayers' money. The taxpayers got to give you money to run the hotel. Now think about that. If my understanding, that's a 300 room hotel, 300 beds, 300 rooms that you got to hire people to take care of. These people have to be skilled to know how to clean up a room, know how to make up a bed, know what it is to do. Don't half do it. But I can say never have I ever stayed in a hotel where I had to call them back and say, look, this bed ain't made up. They had qualified people in the hotel where I stayed to make sure everything was right. But you got to make sure the employees that you have, they do the right thing. But Memphis, Tennessee know nothing about that. So when the nonprofit is running and the top heavy individual, once the hotel is going and getting to where it needs to get, while you as the taxpayer are paying the bill, they are getting paid for running, for being the managers, for being the CEO, the running of the hotel. It was a nice hotel. I stayed in it when it was the Crown Plaza hotel. But what is it that made the hotel in its heyday, the Crown Plaza, become the Marriott? From the Marriott, it became the Sheraton. What happened? These big hotel chains decided that they couldn't make it in Memphis, Tennessee. One branch of hotel sold it to another, and another one sold it to another. And finally, this one sold it to the city. The question is, why? Somebody is not thinking, somebody is not doing the job that you put them in the position to do. And I'm sick and tired. That's why this show is called Tell the Truth and Shame the Devil. You got to wake up, and we got to shake it up next year. As the Lord said the same, that we still here. We got to shake it up because nobody seems to care about doing the right thing. They just want to do their thing. We still got a deficit from the previous administration that we have not addressed, and Paul Young, your man, have not addressed. But he told you he needed a raise. He needed more for his budget. You would have a lot of money if you found out where that $77.7 million went, or the $60 million went over at the transit authority. Now all of a sudden you're saying on a particular day that the citizen would be able to ride the buses free. You're trying to get the interest back up. There are people that using Uber, Lyft, and all these others to get to work when they depended on the bus to get to work. And the buses was not moving in one point. Money being taken from it. Three different leadership in the transit authority. I'm just laying it out, ladies and gentlemen, for you to think about what has been going on here in the poor leadership, one after the other. It had to take help to come into this state because of the poor leadership from C.J. Davis, your chief of police, because she couldn't run it. And you had men that are sitting as assistant chief that knew how to run. But what did we get? We get a man that want to be history maker. Oh, I'm the first one that made a black female chief. And I don't have a problem against black female officers. Never have, never will. Knew a lot of them at the sheriff's department. And much respect for them that rode in the car or worked in the courtroom because they could do the job. But when you're in leadership, like C.J. Davis, and you tell her you don't want her, but then Paul Young, he turns around and make her interim. That is going against the fabric of what you want done. And he showed you what he thought about you. He didn't tell you about no hotel. He didn't tell you anything about him. He was going to increase taxes. He didn't tell you that, but he did. And he already believed that I'm going to make some change. So now what did he do? He go and make a new fire chief. And I, from my understanding, the people I talk to, say he's going to make a great director of the fire department. I wish him well. But he wants you to keep that in your head that he appointed another director of the fire department. And it's the thing that, if you look at it, some people, they don't move or remove from office until they get their time in, so they can get enough money for a good retirement. And politics plays like that. Every kind of way that you can imagine, politics is being played like that in the city of Memphis, the good old boy network. Well, I just leave them in the position for another year or so they can get the full benefit of that office. Well, Sweat probably got the full benefit of the office, and a complaint was filed against her. And a lot of people are glad she's gone. Well, we'll see what the new fire director says. They say he's a good man. I'll be watching. I'll be telling you whether he is or not, because my ear is to the ground. And I'm going to come with all sincerity and power that is invested in me by God Almighty to tell you what needs to be done. We could have done a whole lot of other things that would have been positive, but that wouldn't have been open. And for all elected officials who got elected, do your job. Represent the people, whether it's in Tennessee, Mississippi, Arkansas, or wherever it may be that you're listening to me now, and you are an elected official. Do the right thing that you have been blessed to have the opportunity to represent people. There are some districts that got 95,000 people in one district. The 9th Congressional District has about that many. And the majority of them was African American. But you couldn't sit down at the table of brotherhood and sisterhood and come around, got individuals all jumping in the race. that everybody wants to be the candidate. Don't make sense at all. But they do it because you allow them to do it and you don't say anything about it. And they're going to continue, and continue to do it. They're benefiting from your tax dollars. They're not worried, as I said before. They're not worried like the people from the SNAP that's waiting on to receive their benefit. They supported guys on April, correction, on November the 1st. It is now, what, the 10th? How many of you all can actually go 10 days without eating? You have to get up and do something and make sure food is on the table. But these politicians that you put in office, as I said, they're not hurting. And those who don't do anything but just have a job, they make about 40 years. I bet you a whole lot of people that's on SNAP would love to make 40,000 a year. But these individuals, some may have other jobs and working and getting 40 plus, could sit up there and meet twice a month, if that many times, to do nothing for your community. Wake, I almost said something. Wake up. And if the old folks used to say, smell the coffee. It's time for you to wake up from this nap that you've been taking for over 50 years. From one administration after the another administration. Wake up, ladies and gentlemen. And I'm going to continue to talk. I'm going to continue to work and do what I do. I'm not trying to be big shot caller on. I'm trying to be information to make you make the right decision. And if you don't, I'm going to keep doing what I do. I'm going to keep bringing it to you. And every now and then I may laugh at you. But it may call you boo boo the fool. If you put somebody in office that didn't do anything in this position, and you put them in another position, when there's plenty of individuals qualified to be in the position that you took a old warmed up politician and thought they were going to be brand new in another position. If they didn't do anything in this position, they're not going to do anything in the other position because they become lazy and they look at it as free money that I can get dressed up. None of them know anything about those positions when you elected them to the position. And ladies and gentlemen, it just do not make any sense. And before I go, I want to bring sympathy to the people who have lost loved ones. And I want to thank the National Guard, the law enforcement, who are beefing up and making arrests. Over 2,400 arrests. Over 100 illegal guns or more. Over 100 children have been rescued. And you gonna argue about, well, how do we know? Well, how do you know that they have? For all those ones with the negative attitude, I appreciate what they do. They're making a difference. It's probably dark out there right now, and some of you are scared to stick your head outside because you don't know when evil is coming and what direction it's coming. And those who I often say, you are complaining, and the only reason you complain is because death or tragedy by way of the crime and the criminals in this city have made it to your door. But I guarantee you, when it make it to your door, now God forbid that it does, but when it make it to your door, you got a new song and you got a new dance which will overtake the old days that you were saying that we didn't need them, but you'll be singing a new tune. Oh, why my child? But you're saying that we didn't need to help you to stop the violence in Memphis. The grandmother used to say, if you live long enough, you'll find out the truth. And some of you out there with that negative attitude toward the people who are here to help us, you one day may find out the truth. You one day may be singing a whole different tune. God forbid. But you be careful what you ask for, because you just might get it. I'm Jenny Bernard, you've been listening to Tell the Truth and Shame the Devil. We're going to line up this week's program. Again, I want you to go to Facebook and subscribe to this broadcast. And then after you do that, go over to uh, MemphisRealTalk.com. MemphisRealTalk.com. One word. Go in there and look at what we are doing already, and more to come. You can see the category of the things that we will be addressing for you in the community. And while you're there, go down there, you'll see a donation button, no matter how small, large. Just show your love to this broadcast. Show your love to me and what we are doing to try to make a difference. In the words of my grandmother, she used to always say, if the Lord will and the creek don't run, we'll see you on tomorrow. In my words, I said, trust everyone, but do not trust the devil inside. And let me say this to you. To all the soldiers, past and present, I salute you. Job well done. Steady on your post. Keep your head on the swivel. Good night, and we look forward to seeing you on tomorrow. Take care.